Hey guys, I'm Alfred Posh Spot and welcome to week 3 of the Premier League review. If you want to know this series, what we do is we take a look at the past set Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 26th and Sunday the 27th of August 2017. Also next to the matches are their times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific match, just go to the time next to the game and you skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. And we start with Liverpool versus Arsenal. Liverpool started the game off strong and they should have been 1-0 up very early, but Petr Cech's great reaction save kept Mo Salah's effort out and the game 0-0. But Liverpool eventually took the lead when Roberto Firmino opened the scoring. It came as Arsenal tried to play the ball out from the back, and as we all know, you just can't do that with Liverpool, as young Joe Gomez nipped in to win the ball back. He then whipped a great ball in the middle of the box, and Roberto Firmino managed to get in between Laurent Koscielny and Rob Holding to head the ball into the back of the net. And Liverpool doubled their lead when Roberto Firmino turned from goal scorer to assister as he laid it off to Sadio Mane on the left-hand side, but the Senegalese still had a lot to do from there, but he does it with ease as he cut inside onto his right foot and curled the ball into the far corner of the net for his third goal in as many games. Liverpool pretty much had the game won by half-time, even though they went in 2-0 up. The Arsenal team had already given up and there was no urgency from any of them, so it was no surprise Liverpool added a third 10 minutes into the second half when Mohamed Salah breaks pretty much by himself as the ball is deep within Liverpool half, with all Arsenal men forward for a corner. The ball dropped to Hector Bellerin, but in came Mo Salah, who nicks the ball off of him, and the Egyptian just runs all the way down to the Arsenal box, and even though he did have people by his side, he chose to go alone, and he slotted the ball into the bottom corner. And Liverpool added one final nail in the coffin in the final 10 minutes as Danny Sturridge got a goal after coming off of the subs bench. Yet again, Liverpool caught Arsenal on the counter-attack as Emre Can lays the ball off to Mo Salah on the left-hand side, and the winger whipped in a great ball right onto the head of Danny Sturridge at the back post, who were headed in from close range. And that's how the game ended. Pretty much perfect performance from Liverpool, who barely put a foot wrong. But the real story of this match is, where will Sanchez play his football for the rest of the season? After this match, why on earth would Sanchez want to stay? A little editor note, the main episode was filmed on Monday. I'm recording this on Tuesday. Actually, Alexis Sanchez has put in a transfer request. Apparently, Arsenal have denied it, and actually Man City have just put in a bid for about 70 mil plus Raheem Sterling. So it'll be interesting to see if Arsenal accept that. So yeah, back to the main episode. Arsenal didn't register a single shot on target against one of the worst defences in the league. Mesut Ozil was trash, like always, because he is highly overrated as a player. Lacazette was Arsenal's best player for the time he played because, oh yeah, Wenger didn't start him. He started Welbeck, who is honestly one of the worst players I've ever seen. He's just played trash. He can't control a ball, for Christ's sake. As Mr. DT said, it's fucking Bambi on ice. And then when Lacazette did come on, they left Welbeck on and took Sanchez off for some reason. Oxlade-Chamberlain turned down a new contract this week, and now it's bloody plain to see why. Again, this is just a little update. Chelsea have actually came in with Arsenal and they've actually accepted a deal for Oxlade-Chamberlain for about 35 million. Hasn't been announced yet. Contracts haven't been announced. Anyway, back to the main episode yet again. Rob Holding is finally being exposed. All the Arsenal fans last season saying he's one of the best is now shown clearly that he isn't ready. He's going to be alright. He's not ready yet. Bellerin was awful. Xhaka was awful. Ozil was awful. Sanchez was alright, I mean, he did what he could. But anyway, excellent from Liverpool. Absolute trash from Arsenal. And just one final little update. Liverpool have actually announced Naby Keita, and he'll join next year. And we've put in a bid for Thomas Lemar. And apparently the Virgil van Dijk deal is back on. I'm erect. And we move on to Newcastle versus West Ham. It was a very boring game in the opening 30 minutes, and you would be lucky if you saw a shot, never mind a goal. But we would finally get some excitement in the 36th minute when Newcastle took the lead through Joselu. It was a bad mistake from young Declan Rice as he lost the ball in midfield, and the ball worked its way through to Mikel Merino, who then played a brilliant ball through to Christian Atsu. Atsu then put the ball into the box from left hand side, and Joselu finished despite the pressure from the West Ham defenders. And Newcastle doubled their lead in the 72nd minute when Kieran Clark made it 2-0. It started with Matt Ritchie on the right hand side as he took the ball off Manuel Lanzini and went past him with ease, and then delivered a great cross into the box, and on the end of it was Kieran Clark, and he headed the ball past Joe Hart. And Newcastle put the game beyond any doubt when they made it 3-0 in the 90th minute. Newcastle at this point were pressing high up the pitch and they wanted more goals, and they got that as Ayoze Perez laid a lovely ball through to Alexander Mitrovic, and the Serbian calmly rounded Joe Hart and tapped into the empty net. And that's how the game would end, and after this game West Ham confirmed that Slaven Bilic's position at West Ham is under review. Basically what that means is he is more than likely about to get the sack. But anyway, Newcastle winners in the end, and it was probably the right result. West Ham just looks sloppy at the back, and every time someone comes forward I expect them to concede. I also reckon that West Ham are going to be in a relegation fight. I don't think they'll go down, but I think they'll be extremely close. I don't think Newcastle will go down either, but that's just because of Rafa Benitez. I love him. What a guy. And we move on to Bournemouth versus Manchester City. The game started off well for Bournemouth, who were the more attacking side, and they deservedly took the lead in the 12th minute when Charlie Daniels put the horse ahead with an absolute worldie. It came as Dan Gosling put a cross into the box, and it is headed partially clear to Charlie Daniels. Daniels knows exactly what he wants to do with it as he smashes it first time from the edge of the box, and the ball smashes off the underside of the crossbar and nestles into the bottom corner. You need to see this goal if you haven't already. It's already up there with goal of the season. But Manchester City leveled up the scoring only 10 minutes later as a free kick is taken quickly, and it catches Bournemouth off guard as Gabriel Jesus laid it off to David Silva, and the Brazilian keeps running as Silva slips it back to him, and he held off Nathan Ake before slotting into the corner. And as we near the dying end of the match, there was a few chances for both teams, but for the majority of the match, Man City were the more attacking side. And as we went into the 90th minute, there was 5 minutes added on, so we all kind of knew something was bound to happen, and it did in the 97th minute, yes, 2 minutes after the 5 added minutes. Man City won the game with basically the last kick of the game as Kevin De Bruyne slotted the ball through to Raheem Sterling, who gave it out wide to Danilo. Danilo then put the ball into the box to Sterling, who takes a touch before striking the ball, and it takes a nick off of Andrew Sermon's heels, which takes Begovic out of the game, and it goes into the corner of the net. But as the ball was put onto the centre spot for the game to be continued, Raheem Sterling was sent off. It was because when Raheem Sterling celebrated his winner, he went into the crowd, and that resulted in a second yellow. I mean, it is in the rules. The referee was forced to do it, but you know, even when you used to play Sunday League, or even when you were younger and you used to play for an under 10 team or something, if you score a goal in the 90th minute, that you know is going to win the game, you go mental. But that's how the game would end. Manchester City did deserve the win. They were the attacking side for most of the matches. Bournemouth looked like they were happy to take home a point. The red card decision was ultimately right because you can't go into the crowd and it is a bookable offence. But I think most people would do the same thing if you've just scored a winner in the 90th minute. You know, I presume you'd go mental. I mean, I don't know the feeling of scoring a 90th minute winner in the Premier League, but I assume you'd be very happy. But Man City were winners in the end, and deservedly so. And we move on to Manchester United versus Leicester. The game was pretty exciting despite the fact that we didn't have any goals until the second half, but the first half was pretty good. The ball did end up in the back of the net when Juan Mata scored, but the goal was rightly ruled as offside, and that was pretty much the rest of the first half. Manchester United attacking, but were ultimately let down by their finishing and some spectacular saves by Kasper Schmeichel. But Manchester United had the perfect chance to take the lead 5 minutes into the second half when they were given a penalty. It was Anthony Martial's cross and it struck the arm of Danny Simpson, and the ref pointed to the spot. Romelu Lukaku stepped up to take it, and he had a chance to make history and be the first ever player to score in their first 3 games for Manchester United. But his penalty was brilliantly saved by Schmeichel, and the game continued goalless. But Man United finally took the lead in the 70th minute when substitute Marcus Rashford put the horse ahead. It came from a corner as Henrik Mkhitaryan swung it in, and everyone misses it, but it fell to Rashford and he reacted quickly as he volleyed the ball into the back of the net. And 10 minutes later, Manchester United doubled their lead when yet again another substitute scored, but this time it was the human tree, Marouane Fellaini. Rashford was involved again as he played the ball through to Jesse Lingard, and he broke down the left hand side. Marouane Fellaini was making a charging run into the box, but Lingard doesn't play him, and the chance looked like it had faded away. But Lingard cut inside and looked like he was shooting for the far corner, but the ball deflected off of Fellaini's knee and the Belgian ran off in celebration. And that's how the game ended yet again. Another Manchester United win and another great Manchester United performance. Leicester did well to hold off Man United for the majority of the game, but in the end, the depth on the United bench got to them, and when Rashford, Lingard and Fellaini came on the pitch, the game flipped on its head and Man United walked away with their 100% start still intact. And we move on to Chelsea versus Everton. Chelsea were the better side for the opening quarter, and they deservedly took the lead in the 26th minute through Cesc Fabregas. It started with Willian as he played a ball through to Alvaro Morata. It seemed that Morata did miscontrol it, but he somehow managed to turn that miscontrol into a lovely headed pass through to Fabregas, who was sprinting into the box, and he finished it with the outside of his foot into the bottom corner. And Chelsea doubled their lead 5 minutes before the break through Alvaro Morata. Victor Moses was fouled on the edge of the box, but instead of giving the free kick, the referee gave the advantage as Cesar Azpilicueta put a great ball into the box, and on the end of it was Morata, who headed into the net from 10 yards out. And that's how the game ended, and if I'm honest, Everton were very lucky that it was only 2-0. They were really bad this game, hardly making any chance, and it was all too easy for Chelsea. Everton didn't get a sniffer goal until the second half, and even then, the chances were non-threatening. But like I said, Chelsea looked great value for money, Alvaro Morata getting another assist and another goal. And if his performances keep up, Chelsea won't miss Diego Costa. And we move on to Crystal Palace versus Swansea. The game didn't have a single shot on target for most of the first half, but in the 44th minute we finally had a shot on target, and that resulted in the first goal. It was a simple goal as Leroy Fer put a cross into the box, and diving in to meet it was Tammy Abraham, who steered the ball low into the net for his first goal for Swansea. And Swansea doubled their lead on the other side of the half-time break when Jordan Ayew made it 2-0. It was a mistake from Martin Kelly that led to the goal as the defender lost possession on the halfway line by Cal Norton. Norton then played a lovely pass that took out the entire Palace backline, and Jordan Ayew was clean through on goal. Wayne Hennessy comes out to try and get it, and the initial shot does rebound off of his feet, but it then hits Jordan Ayew, so it just falls lovely for him. Empty net, Jordan Ayew, goal. And that's how the match ended, and Swansea were the better side of this match as Crystal Palace, they aren't getting the basics right at the back. They're letting everyone through, and if they keep going like this, they're going to be one of the favourites to go down. As for Swansea, it was a great performance from them, especially young Tammy Abraham, as the 19-year-old had a great game and it was topped off by a goal. And we move on to Tottenham versus Burnley. Tottenham were the better side for the first half, but they were unable to break through the Burnley defence until 5 minutes into the second half when Dele Alli put them ahead. It was such a sloppy goal to concede, as a corner is whipped into the box, Ben Mee falls over whilst trying to clear it, and the ball fell loose to Ali, who side-footed home from just about 6 yards out. After this goal, Burnley got back into the game, and the Tottenham defence was starting to look a little shifty, but it looked like they were going to hold on for the win. That wasn't until the 92nd minute when Chris Wood scored on his debut for the club. After moving from Leeds to Burnley for a club record fee of 15 million and playing your debut for the club at Wembley, he's off to a good start. The move started with Rory Brady, who looked dangerous every time he came forward. Brady played a lovely ball through the Tottenham defence and into the path of Chris Wood, and he hit the ball first time into the bottom right corner. And that's how the game ended, and Burnley deserved a point. Like I said, Tottenham were the attacking side for the majority of the first half, but Burnley did well to hold on, and after Spurs finally scored, they took huge risks, pumping men forward, and in the end the risk paid off. Tottenham's still yet to win in their home for the season, and Harry Kane is still yet to score a Premier League goal in August in his entire career. And we move on to West Brom versus Stoke. The game was extremely boring. No shots on target for either team in the first half and 20 minutes of the second half, but when we did have a shot on target, it resulted in our first goal as West Brom took the lead. It was Alan Young who whipped in a great cross from the right, and on the end of it, on his home debut, was Jay Rodriguez, who got low and was able to head the ball home. But Stoke were gifted an equaliser about 10 minutes later. It came when Egyptian winger Ramadan Sobhi put a ball into the box, and Ben Foster and Ahmed Hegazi go for it, and in the end Hegazi's clearance ends up bouncing off of Foster, and the ball falls loose to Peter Crouch, who headed into the empty net. And that's how the game ended, in a game of very little quality. The game livened up a little bit in the final quarter, but as for the rest of the game, both teams continue their decent start to the season, with Stoke recovering well from the opening day defeat to Everton by picking up 4 points from 6. And West Brom are still undefeated, picking up 7 from 9. West Brom surely should have saw this game out, but one mistake at the back was all that was needed for Stoke to grab a point. And we move on to Watford versus Brighton. The only thing that happened in this match was in the 24th minute when Miguel Bretos was sent off for a horror tackle. It was just an assault. Anthony Knockout was running down the wing, and out of nowhere came Miguel Bretos, 2-footed off the floor. He actually jumped into it and caught Knockout on the knee, as you can see from the picture, and rightly so, he was shown a straight red card. At the end of the season, that's going to be up there with Marko Arnautovic's red card from last week, and I don't think by then we'll know what he was thinking. And like I said, that is pretty much all that happened in a game of very few chances. The closest anyone came was Brighton, as Anthony Knockout and Tomer Hamed both hit the post, and Brighton probably deserved more than a point, as they had more shots, more possession, more everything really. Watford were on the back foot for most of the match thanks to Bretos' red card, but they did well to keep Brighton at bay as both teams picked up a point, and it was Brighton's first ever point in the Premier League. Isn't that nice? And finally, we've got Huddersfield versus Southampton. Another 0-0 draw this week, and Huddersfield should have definitely kept up their 100% start to the season. Steve Mooney, Rajiv Vallapara, probably butchered that name, and Elias Kachunga all had great chances. But then again, Southampton had a great chance as Ryan Bertrand's header was cleared off the line. So both teams had a chance to win the game, but ultimately neither team were able to break the deadlock, and they both walked away with a point. So that's all the games I've got for you this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. Starting with the top 5, and as you can see, Manchester United are top after another win, which makes them the only team left with a perfect record after they beat Leicester. Liverpool are second after demolishing Arsenal. Huddersfield is still unbeaten after they picked up a point against Southampton. Manchester City are fourth following their late win at Bournemouth, and West Brom make up the top 5 after their draw against Stoke. Moving on to the bottom 5, and West Ham are stuck to the bottom following another heavy defeat this week to Newcastle. Crystal Palace are 19th after their loss to Swansea. Bournemouth make up the bottom 3 after they lost in injury time to Manchester City. Brighton picked up their first ever point in the Premier League after they drew at Watford, and the big surprise, Arsenal make up the bottom 5 after they, for lack of better words, were absolutely bombed by Liverpool. Moving on to the Premier League top goal scorers, and Sadio Mane made it 3 goals in 3 games when he scored against Arsenal. Romelu Lukaku missed out on being the first player ever to score in their first 3 games for Man United when he missed that penalty, but he's still on 3 goals. Alvaro Morata has gotten an assist and a goal in both of the games he's played for Chelsea. He's on 2 goals and 2 assists. Roberto Firmino is also on 2 goals and 2 assists, and making up the top 5 is Anthony Martial on 2 goals and 1 assist. Right, so that's all I've got for you this week. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back in 2 weeks for the next episode of the Premier League review. Yeah, no episode next week because there are international fixtures, but at least they're World Cup qualifiers, so they actually mean something. But anyway, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can. The link is in the description, or it's at @portionofsport_. If you want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, the links to both of those are in the description as well. Or my channel should be popping on Instagram round about now. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I've been Mark from Portion of Sport, and I'll see you soon.